it's time for another review video. Some weeks ago, I showed you the Anbernic RG350, but today I will show you its sibling, the Anbernic RG351M. So, let's get started. This video is supported by Ploylab'S. If you are looking for cool gaming stuff, you may want to visit their website. Look for the link in the description below. Okay, let's continue to tear this package. So the company still uses a board, monochrome packaging design that is not attractive at all. I don't know why many Chinese retro game console companies use this kind of approach. Is this a trend or something? Well, I don't know. For me, it looks dull and cheap. Let's continue. And as expected, they use the same inner style packaging as the RG350. But the difference is that this device is much heavier than the RG350, so it's not easy to lift the console by pinching it. And you know what? The RG351M has a metal body, so M represents metal. That's why it is hefty. The surface is sleek and cold. I think it is fantastic. As far as I know, there are no other game console companies that use metal for their console shell. Even the giants don't do that. Let's lift the base and see what's under it. There's a USB cable and the product manual. Pretty standard. Now we will take a close look at the console. On the top side, you see two USB Type-C ports and a headphone port. For your information, many Chinese retro handheld game consoles have two USB ports. And on this side, you can see the shoulder buttons as well. There are speakers, micro SD card slot, and the reset button on the bottom side. You can see some info about the battery and the input voltage and two rubber pads on the back side. On the left side, there is a power button. And on the right side, there is a volume control wheel. Okay, let's see the software side. If you wonder what this is, it is a stereo cable for recording the console sound. Let's turn on the console. It took 15 seconds to boot into the home screen, and the UI is different from the RG350, as there are no icons and it goes straight into the emulator window. Press the left or the right D-pad button to browse for the emulator, and there are a total of 23 emulators to choose from on this console. To be honest, the home screen UI is simple, eye-catching, and easy to navigate. The emulator variants are somehow standard. You can find the same thing on any other retro game consoles. I'm sure that all of the 2D games work perfectly, but let's see how this device handles 3D games. We will see it later. First, let's try running any Nintendo DS game. Let's try the Super Mario 64 DS version. As you can see and hear, this game lags. The game sound and the frame rate are not very good. We will continue running this game and see how well the game performs. This kinda bugs me a lot. The game sound is heavily stuttered. Oh my god, this is so bad. I'm sure we won't be able to run this game normally.
Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
Well, let's cut the FMV and go directly to the gameplay. This is I don't have words to say. So the RG351M cannot run DS games properly. Maybe there are specific settings, but yeah, I will avoid it. To exit the game, press the Start and the A button together. Let's try other games on other platforms.
Rise from your grave.
So this game runs perfectly. I was very sure of that. All 2D games will work just fine. To exit the game, press the L3 and the R3 button together. Then move the cursor down and choose Close Content. Again, move the cursor down and select Quit RetroArch. Next, I will run a random game on every platform, so in the end, you will know this console better. Oh well, this game lags too. So I need to revise my statement. Not all 2D games work perfectly. Oh, this is so terrible. The sound, the frame rate, oh my gosh.
USA.
Capcom presents. Marvel vs. Capcom. Ready. Fight.
No mercy. Attack.
It's me, Mario! Hello! Yahoo! Aha!
It's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go!
Hey, taxi!
Shall we?
Yoo-hoo! Go to the department store!
Hold tight.
Be careful!
Don't worry. That's the right way, huh? Lucky day.
Wait up! Pick me up! Wait up! Pick me up!
Hey, let's go.
Darling! Take me to HSB!
All right, let's go.
Go straight!
Vor langer Zeit lebten die Menschen glücklich und zufrieden.
To end PSP games, we need to press the R3 button, then select Exit to Menu and choose Exit. So after testing some games, I found that some games work fine and some didn't qualify to make it playable. It depends on the CPU power and the emulator itself, so it is a mixed bag. Nothing is perfect. So where is the console settings? Easy. Press the Start button and you will see some menu on the screen. So the front-end GUI is EmuELEC, while the backend is RetroArch. Most emulators are based on RetroArch, while the Drastic and the PPSSPP have their settings separated from the RetroArch. If you're familiar with the RetroPie emulation station, then the menu is somehow similar. To turn off the console, simply select Quit, then choose Shutdown System. The next part is optional, but it is useful for those who want to do experiments with this device. The Anbernic RG351M is basically a mini computer. Since it is a computer, we can install any compatible firmware into it, like upgrading its firmware or completely replacing the stock firmware. You can use the one that Anbernic provides, or use a custom firmware like 351ELEC or something else. This section will show you how to install the 351ELEC firmware on another microSD card, and hopefully there will be a performance upgrade. So the next thing we need to do is copy all the games from the current microSD card to a computer. Remove the microSD card from the console. Create a new folder on your computer and name it as you like. Then open the current microSD card with your computer and navigate into the games drive. Select all its content and paste it to the newly created folder. And in the end, you will have two folders with the same content. Now download a tool called LI-POLYMER and install it to the computer. Prepare another microSD card to install the new firmware. Why? Because you might have the game save data and other essential things inside the current microSD card. Please keep the current microSD card intact so you can refer to the original state when something terrible happens. So this is the firmware pack and this is the games folder. Now open the LI-POLYMER. Click the Flash from File button, then choose the firmware pack. Click Select Target and choose the microSD card. Remember, do not use the one that came from the console, but use the replacement microSD card instead. And then click the Flash button. Okay, the microSD card is now flashed with the new firmware. Let's insert the microSD card into the console and try to boot it up. And you can see that the boot logo is now 351 elect, not Anbernic. Now let's wait until it completed the setup and the boot process. It took about 1 minute to set up everything, so just wait and relax a little bit. Now you are at the home screen. It is dark and cold and there's nothing inside it. Remember, we haven't restored the games into the SD card. By default, this firmware doesn't include FreshStick due to licensing concerns. For those who wonder, FreshStick is the Nintendo DS emulator, so we need to install the app manually by connecting this console to the internet. Press the start button to open the settings. I don't know why they made the environment so dark. Is it to save the battery power? I think it is not comfortable at all. By the way, let's select the network settings. Move the cursor down and enable the Wi-Fi connection. Then select the Wi-Fi SSID and type in the password. And select the back button. On some occasions, the console might freeze while adding a Wi-Fi profile. It is a bug and we have to press the reset button to reboot the console. Press OK to continue. Now let's install Drastic. Move the cursor down and select Updates and Downloads. Then select Packages. Select Drastic and install it. Now you can go back and turn off the console. We will copy all the games into the SD card. Remove the microSD card from the console. Open the games folder on the SD card and open the games folder on your computer. Now copy-paste the games from the computer to the microSD card. And replace everything. Reinsert the microSD card into the console. And boot it up. Now you can see the games, but unfortunately they set the theme too dark, so it is not eye-friendly. And the number of emulators displayed on the screen is the same as the original or stock firmware. So, what's the point? I will show you a reason. Let's try to load a Nintendo DS game, the same game as the previous one, which is the Super Mario 64 DS version.
Mario!
Can you spot the difference? Yes, the game runs better now. It is because we are using the newer version of Drastic. Let's see how it performs. The game looks fine and it is playable. Want to see another example? Here it is. This is the PSP God of War game running on stock firmware. I've adjusted the PPSSPP settings, but the result is so bad. And this is how the same game performs using the custom firmware and of course with the improved version of PPSSPP. It is not perfect, but we can see a definite performance upgrade over the previous version. So I think this console is okay for casual gamers and hobbyists who love exploring and doing experiments. The performance of its emulator heavily depends on the CPU and the software version. Since we can upgrade the console's firmware, I think we don't need to worry about it. But remember, this is not a powerful device, but it has potentials. Don't ever compare the Anbernic RG351M to console giants such as Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft, as it won't match. Thanks for watching this lengthy video and see you later.